Yo, September 2nd, 2023. It's almost noon. And gonna hit some jump rope for a few rounds. I don't have a timer, so I just go by a couple songs. I'll count one song as a round, and we're gonna go from there. So get a couple rounds of shadow boxing in after we get some cardio in, warm up our body a little bit. I did very like 15 seconds worth of static stretching, and this is kind of going to be my warm-up. This will be my a little bit of my stretching. It's the jump rope. So I want you guys to go check me out on KOSTLCH3PUPIL, posting my little podcast format videos again. I'm gonna get the setup going in a couple days here in terms of like the equipment quality, but it's pretty good quality as is, man. So yesterday's video was pretty good. It was about time consumption and how you could either get conquered by it or conquer it. It's definitely valuable and worth the watch. What I like to do when I watch like informative videos or podcasts or whatever of the nature is I like to speed up the video about 1.5 times the normal speed. Sometimes I'll even go to 2 times the normal speed. And so that way I could consume a 30-minute video in 15 minutes. And a lot of people don't give themselves enough credit because your brain works. Your brain is the most powerful computer on the planet. And so you might think you're not absorbing all of the information because you're listening to it at a faster rate, but you are. And you practice, man. Just like reading, man. The more you read, the better you get at it. The faster you're able to do it, the more you're able to absorb. And it's the same thing with listening, guys. So, you know, I remember Tony Robbins talking about people complaining about how fast he talks. And I think his response was that you need to think faster. You need to listen faster, you know? I talk fast because that's how fast my brain moves, you know? And that's how much I have. So much information to put out, so much value to put out. I gotta steamroll through a lot of this shit, and it's up to you to take the time to reflect on it and absorb it. Anyways, I can feel the calves starting to burn a little bit. Not burn, but you can feel that they're working. Usually I'll go for like just a straight up 10 minutes, you know, when I'm jumping rope, but we're gonna do a couple rounds today. Maybe we'll do 5-minute rounds, I don't know. We'll see. I don't got my watch on, so my watch is usually a pretty good little bit of a timer. Warm the body up a little bit here. Love jumping rope. Wish I was a little bit better at it. You know, you see some people crossing and running and skipping, and gotta learn some of it. I will. But I think the forecast is gonna be a little bit cloudy for about the rest of the week. Weather should turn over after that a little bit, but we are entering the winter season. So I'm a little bit excited about that because of just about the situation I got going on. It'd be more ideal for the sun not to be blazing down on me all day long, you know? Just gotta practice. Gotta practice. It's tough, man, because the same rules don't apply to everybody, right? So for me, for the past decade, literally, I'm 28 years old. I turned 29 in February. So since I was 18, 20 years old, I've been just consuming information by people who I want to be like, or at least people who are closer to the type of person I want to be like, right? So, you know, it started out with Joe Rogan, and I got so turned on to him because of his deep reflecting ability, right? He's a deep thinker, guys. And you know, if you followed him from the beginning of his career, he was very much into like psychedelics and, you know, philosophy a little bit, and the cosmos, and pondering kind of like below the surface a little bit of societal thoughts, you know? So I immediately connected with him on that, and then probably more so than that, I connected with him on the martial arts aspect of him, you know, because that's who I am, man. I might not be the best. I might only be a white belt. For the past 10 years, for the past 15, 20 years, I'm a white belt. But I'm still a martial artist, guys. I'm not gonna let nobody take that away from me, man. The way I think, the way I move, the way I act, I'm a martial artist. I'm also human, right? So I make mistakes. I'm not perfect. I do things that I shouldn't, you know, out of spite, out of emotion, out of resentment, out of revenge. And that's not what a great martial artist would do, you know? But I'm a ghetto motherfucker. What do you want from me? Grew up in the trailer park. Right, Dad? Right. So yeah, so Rogan hit the martial arts aspect of myself. And then he hits the motivational ticket for me. Punches the motivational ticket, right? I remember, you can't find the original one. It'd be very hard to find the original version of it. I got it somewhere on one of my old computers, but he's got a little skit where he's talking about, imagine watching a movie, you know? And in the beginning of the movie, the guy's a loser and his life sucks and nothing goes right for him, everything's going wrong. But then the movie begins and his life starts to change. He starts to work out, starts to eat better, starts to read, starts to write, starts to go out into the world and have a more positive impact. And his life changes, and by the end of the movie, you got a happy ending. You know, little things like that really made me connect largely to him, to Joe Rogan, right? And then, you know, I dove into the Anthony Robbins of the world, and the Les Browns, and some people would think that's a lot of mumbo jumbo. The E.T. the hip hop preachers, Jarrett Grossman, dude. Jarrett Grossman's my favorite, bro. He took everything down. That shit fucking kills my spirit. Guys, he did a motivational video every day from 2 to 12 minutes long every single day for 365 days, man. And he took the series down. Dude, I would pay $500 for every single one of those videos, man, for a playlist. I'd pay $1,000. It's priceless. Because it's not just mumbo jumbo, and it's not just inspiration and motivation. It's life wisdom, dude. That if you have the ability to apply the things that these people are teaching, not just hear them, not just get motivated by them, but to put action behind what these people are talking about, you could do anything in life. Anything. Okay? So, you know, and then I started diving into some Barnes & Noble's content, you know? Getting into books, you know, Food of the Gods by Terence McKenna. Fascinating concept, right? This starts to move your mind in a different way, starts to connect synapses that didn't previously connect. Gives you the ability to be a little bit more introspective. Reading the book Lying by Sam Harris because of how deeply impacted I was by people lying to me that I trust. Reading books like Napoleon Hill, Outwitting the Devil. Dude, that ain't a motivational self-help book. That is that's a textbook, a scientific textbook on how to conquer life, on how to conquer societal patterns, on how to conquer mass media manipulation. That ain't a self-help book, dude, even though it is. That's a fucking textbook on, that's a scientific textbook, dude. Reading books like, you know, I used to go to garage sales and get a lot of books too, a couple library books. Let me give you a couple more good ones, guys. My mind's not super focused on what I'm saying right now because I'm concentrated on my workout as well. I'm not in full autopilot mode. It's another great book that I want to recommend to you guys. You know, an Anthony Robbins book, Awaken the Giant Within, is a good book. A Brief History in Time by Stephen Hawking, fascinating book, gives you a little bit more perspective and broadens your horizon on how you see things in life. Jesse Ventura, 63 documents the government doesn't want you to read, little things like that, you know. Manly Palmer Hall, Secret Teachings of All Ages. That one you got to be careful with because you can't get lost in the sauce with occultism. You have to come at occultism with Christ consciousness, with a giving spirit, not a taking spirit, ever. Otherwise you get lost in the sauce. It's another good book. Give you one more good book and then I'll wrap up my point. It's another good book, guys. How about some audiobooks? What do I got? Dianetics by L. Ron Hubbard. I would consider that worth the listen, man, just to see how he affected so many people, man, and literally started a religion, you know, off of some science fictional stuff. It's worth the listen, man. Especially I'm in Florida, so, you know, Clearwater's controlled by Scientology, and so it's also one of the most popular beaches, one of the most sought out places for the entire world when they come to America and they seek out a beach on the East Coast. So it's worth the listen in order to gain the perspective on how this man was able to control so many people, you know. The Holy Bible, obviously, you know, people could think whatever the fuck they want. The Holy Bible is a book comprised of a bunch of stories that has everything to do with everyone that is alive on the planet. Backstabbing, deceit, dreadfulness, sorrow, compassion, depression, repression, expression. It's a book on life, man. You don't have to put all of these attachments to it. Oh, it's religion, oh, blah. Dude, it's a bunch of good stories, man, that you'll probably relate to, like the rest of fucking humanity for thousands of years. They're just stories about how your girlfriend cheats on you with your best friend and stuff like that. That how your best friend will sell you out for $1 just to get that promotion at work. You guys thought you were friends and you hang out on the weekends. No, dude, he wants that promotion. So take a little break here and try to give you one more book just to make my point. What's another good book, guys? Okay, I'll give you one last really great book that I would start with, okay? After the Holy Bible, of course. The Holy Bible is the cream of the crop, the ultimatum. Mind Programming by Eldon Taylor. E-L-D-O-N-T-A-Y-L-O-R. Mind Programming. Phenomenal book. Available in most Barnes and Nobles. Okay? A must read. So my point is that everybody's different. We all march to the beat of our own drums. So for me, absorbing all of this information for a decade put me specifically in a position to not listen to the people around me, especially, let me make sure that I word this correctly so you understand what I'm trying to tell you guys, especially people who I'm not trying to be like. So I would listen to these people, I would hear them out, and I would consider what they're saying, but I wouldn't apply what they're telling me into my own life, because they're not people who I want to be like, okay? And they're not people who are as well researched as I am, or who are as well read as I am, or who want to be the type of person that I want to be. Now, am I better than these people? No, not necessarily, but also yes, kind of. I had an opportunity given to me by my parents' parents to put me in a position to where I had the luxury, is what it's called, man, the ability, the God-given gift to have the time, because I didn't have to worry about money necessarily. Saved up $5,000 by living for free with my parents and fucking drove across the country with it, you know, in 2014-15, before the economy was completely fucked. You know, I think I traveled the country on $300, dude. Back and forth on fucking 450, 500 bucks, dude, in a Toyota Corolla, man, just cruising. And that put me in a position to absorb all of this information, guys. So you might not be in that position. You might not have access to the information that I've had access to. So it might be more wise for you to listen to the people around you. But one thing's for sure, whether what I just said is true or not for your own situation, if you know the type of person you want to try to become, and the people who are in your ear all the time are telling you stuff otherwise, you have to ignore that shit, man. You have to knock that shit the fuck off your shoulder, man. You have to knock that block right off your shoulder, because that'll just put you in a never-ending whirlpool, a cycle of depression, a cycle of always wondering why, what if, who could I have been if, you know, these people around me are telling me to be a coal miner because that's all they know, when I want to be a UFC superstar. Well, then you got to get around people who are in the UFC, and then work your way up to people who are UFC superstars. You have to get in their ear, you have to get in their face. Hey man, what's up? How do you do this? Hey man, what's up? What do you think about this? 15 of them will ignore you, but when you approach 17 of them, one will give you the answers that you're looking for. One will let you train with them. One will let you prepare their food for them 7 days a week, and they'll give you housing in exchange of that. You guys got to put yourself out into the world, okay? So my next point is The Hero's Journey, okay? By a man named Joe. I think there was a documentary called A Man Named Joe or something like that. My best friend sent to me that his mother sent to him. And the hero's journey is a concept created, or I'm sorry, repopularized by, Joseph Campbell is the guy's name, okay? Joe. And that's why the documentary is called A Man Named Joe. It's not exactly called that, but it's something like that, okay? So Joseph Campbell is actually the man that inspired, what's the dude's name? Lucas, from Star Wars. George Lucas, to make Star Wars the way that he did, you know? Star Wars is the hero's journey about Luke Skywalker, who had to leave behind everything he knew in order to pursue his own personal purpose, in order to literally save the universe, guys. What this is telling you is that and unfortunately, because the sheer amount of people and the world that we live in, not everybody is going to be able to walk the hero's journey. Most of us are just going to be cyborgs. What do you call them? Stormtroopers. Just basic, average motherfuckers doing their diligence and their duty. Where some of us are going to be Darth Vader. Some of us are going to be, who's Darth Vader's overlord? The old fucking weirdo motherfucker. The dark Sith and shit, you know? Some of us are going to be Anakin. Some of us are going to be Luke Skywalker. Some of us are going to be Obi-Wan. But what this concept is telling us is that the entire universe life, death, the afterlife, all 7 dimensions, all 9-dimensional planes are on the edge of their seat, biting their fingernails, watching your every move. What are you going to do next? Because the universe depends on you. And if you don't follow your personal purpose, if you don't go out into the world the way Luke Skywalker did, had to leave behind everything he knew, everything that he loved, everything that made him feel comfortable, everything that made him who he was up until that point. If he didn't leave his local neighborhood that he grew up in, the world would be fucked as we know it. Darth Vader would have controlled the universe. Hitler would have won if it wasn't for savage Americans that fought that fight. Savage soldiers that fought against this corruption and evil of the world, man. You know? So, another great example of this is the Bhagavad Gita. Good luck spelling that one, but I'll give you a hint. It's Bhagga, I think. The H is silent, right? Bhagavad Gita. And that's an incredible story about a young man named Arjuna. And Arjuna was put in a perplexed situation and had to make a decision on whether he was going to live his life as a mundane, normal citizen of the world and stick close to everything that makes him feel comfortable in life, or was he going to go out into the world as an explorer, as a conqueror of his own demons, of his own obstacles in life? Or was he just going to sit behind for the rest of his life and let those demons conquer him? And sometimes that conquering of your spirit isn't as robust as, you know, earth-shaking, groundbreaking, you know, life-shattering movement. Sometimes it's extremely subtle. That's how the devil operates. He's subtle. How do you spell that word? I'll give you a hint. It's not S-U-D-D-L-E or E-L, you know what I mean? It's subtle, okay? It's so smooth. It's the most smooth paved road you've ever been down. And that should tell you something. This road's too smooth, man. This road, too many people are on this road at all times, man. Something can't be right about this if everybody's riding down this road and they're constantly working on it. Let me take the back door path. Let me take the path that people like Luke Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you know, the greatest people of our fucking, the Buddha, Jesus Christ, Krishna, shit like that, you know. Let me take that path, because there seems to be something so difficult about it that people are avoiding. And typically, anything that's difficult in life rewards you with an abundance of gifts that are dutifully received, because nothing great in life comes without hard work and due diligence, without excruciating pain, and a constant lack of pleasure. Okay, so the beautiful thing about life is you get to decide who you want to be. All right, not your father, not your mother, not your uncle, not your brother, not your sister, not your children. You get to decide who you want to be in this life. And you could be a good man, you could be a great man, you could be a bad man, you could be an average man. You could change the world, or you could be changed by it. And it's about to rain, y'all. You know we're not gonna stop if it starts raining. I will have to place the GoPro somewhere else though. So after this song, we're gonna see how long I've been jump roping for. So I'm doing shit that kind of makes me a little bit of a loser as a 30-year-old young man, you know? I'm dead ass broke. living in a fucking van. I don't have access to electricity. You know? I have to go to the fucking laundromat. You know? 25 minutes, not bad, guys. All right, man, I'll see you in the next video, in the next clip. We'll do some shadow boxing after this, all right? Right into it.